Hi everyone, it's Adam Coburn here at Low & Co. Welcome to the first market update video for the year. We are looking today at the Wellington Property Market for January 2021 compared to January 2020. So let's get into it. In summary, the market is absolutely still red hot, and I believe we have actually seen to January 2021 the highest 12 monthly price growth we've ever seen since the data has been collected in Wellington region, the highest price growth for a 12-month period ever seen since the start of data collected, which I believe was early 1990s. Please bear in mind though that as we go through these numbers, January is a strange month. It just tends to behave differently from the few months before and the few months that come after January. We're coming out of the holiday season, so the numbers are a little bit skewed. So rather than paying too much attention to January specific numbers, it can be more useful to look at the trend compared to other Januaries and also look at the 6-month moving average compared to the actual specific monthly data. Let's get started looking at the median sale price for Wellington region. Absolutely massive change of up almost 28%. January 2021 median price 792,000 compared to January 2020 620,000. So the biggest movement in the median sale price over a 12-month period, certainly that I've ever seen. Absolutely enormous at nearly 28%. Now, if you look at the January number, you can actually see that the median sale price is lower than it was in December. And as I indicated earlier, that happens pretty consistently. The January numbers are just different. And every January for the last 5 years, the median sale price has reduced significantly compared to December, and then it increases significantly when we come into February again. And in fact, if we look at the reduction this time round, it's really quite small compared to the previous 5 Januaries where we've had quite a more significant price reduction. So January to January, median sale price up 28%. It is down a little compared to December, but as I say, that's normal, and the drop compared to this December was much smaller than we've seen in the previous 5 years. So price growth still accelerating terrifically. Now, the median sale price, of course, is not a perfect gauge of whether underlying values are increasing or changing. And what we need to look at that really, the best measure is the Real Estate Institute House Price Index. So we have a quick look at that, and this table here has got a lot of numbers in it, so if you want to study it, perhaps hit pause now. But if we look at the Wellington numbers, you can see in the last month, price has gone up 3%, the last 3 months, 12%, that's November, December, January, and in the last 12 months to January 2021, an increase in underlying values as measured by the Real Estate Institute House Price Index of a massive 26%. So in this instance, the 26% is very, very similar to the almost 28% that we saw in the median house price sale growth. So in actual fact, that index is, or that data is actually quite a reliable measure in this instance. Interesting to see that. The biggest 12-month movement that we've ever seen in Wellington, according to this data, at 26%. And interesting also that Wellington region has enjoyed over 15% growth per annum for the last 5 years, which is quite remarkable. So house prices are still growing very, very strongly in Wellington. So yet the highest we've ever seen in a 12-month period in the region. If we have a look also at at a moving average for the last 4 months, this is very interesting because in particular the last 4 months of 2020 we saw absolutely enormous growth, and that was across the country, but in particular for Wellington, as you can see by this graph here, never before since the data was started collecting in the early 90s have we seen prices grow by more than 10% in a 4-month period until the last 4 months of 2020, when we saw price growth just a little over 15%. So again, just another bit of evidence that prices have been growing extremely rapidly in Wellington, faster than we have ever seen. How many new listings have we gotten in January? 601 in January 2021 compared to 628 in January 2020. So ever so slightly less in January this year compared to last year. Now, for the most part, in the last 9 months or so since we came out of lockdown, we've seen, with the exception of the first couple of months out of lockdown, the number of new listings coming on has actually, on average, been slightly ahead of 12 months ago. So we're, in this instance, down by 4%, bucking the trend slightly. Not good news for buyers who are wanting more listings coming on rather than less. In terms of number of sales, we've seen only 285 sales take place in January 21 compared to 413 in January 2020. That's a big drop of 31%. Similarly, that is bucking the trend. What we've seen in the last 6 or 9 months is actually more sales taking place than 12 months ago. Now, sometimes what this can indicate is a reduction in underlying demand. So is this showing that actually demand is reducing? I don't think so, because we are not seeing softening in prices. So if demand is reducing, or a number of transactions are reducing at the same time as prices aggressively going up, as we have seen, then the cause of the reduction in the number of sales is probably more related to a lack of properties to purchase as opposed to a lack of demand. So quite a big drop in the number of sales in January compared to January 2020. But bear in mind, again, January is an unusual month. How long is it taking to sell? Again, January is typically different from December and February in that it takes longer because you've had the holiday season to contend with. And so as you can see there from the graphs here, January typically is longer than the previous 6 months, and this is no different. But compared to January last year, 37 days in January 2021 versus 38 days January 2020. So very little change there, a reduction of 1 day. Number of weeks worth of stock on the market. We saw 7 weeks in January 2021 versus 8 weeks in January 2020. So a little bit less than a year ago. Interestingly, the first time in 6 months that we've seen more than 6 weeks worth of supply in Wellington, and this of course is the comparison of how much supply have we got on the market versus how quickly our property's selling. And perhaps the reason that we're seeing quite a big increase from 4 weeks in December to 7 weeks in January is because we saw the number of sales taking place in January drop considerably compared to last January. So that's not really a reflection of more supply coming on. It's just that because we had fewer sales taking place in the month, then it takes longer for the amount of listings we've got on the market today to sell, therefore an increase from 4 weeks to 7. But compared to a year ago in January 2020, it's a reduction from 8 weeks down to 7. And indeed also, if you look at that 6-month moving average, the red line there, you can see it actually just dipped below 6 weeks on an average for the last 6 months, compared to the last 6 years or so. The only time it's dropped below 6 weeks on a moving average basis for 6 months is way back in 2016, when the Wellington boom kicked right off, and we started out with very, very tight supply. So it hasn't been this tight on a 6-month moving average basis for 5 or 6 years. How many listings are on Trademe? This, of course, is the February data as of only a couple of days ago compared to a similar time in February 2020, and it is a massive reduction, down 34% from 12 months ago at 1,082 compared to 1,650. So again, this is not good news for buyers. There are not many listings out there to choose from on the websites, and again, you can see that consistent drop-off in the last 6 to 8 months in terms of the number of listings available on Trademe. And indeed, in this time of year, we typically see a big increase in the number of listings. And compared to previous years, if you look back through that data series there, you can see that typically we get a big increase coming off a holiday season, and the increase we've seen in January and February this year has been much, much more muted than we have seen in previous years. So again, this is not good news for buyers. A big reduction in the number of listings on Trademe compared to 12 months ago. So in summary, price growth, absolutely huge. The biggest price growth we've seen in Wellington ever in 12 months and on a 4-month basis. New listings down slightly. Sales volumes down significantly, but again, January is a strange month, and I doubt this indicates a softening of demand, rather a lack of available properties to purchase. Duration to sell, it's not taking long compared to other Januaries, and it's pretty stable compared to a year ago. Inventory is slightly down on a year ago, although it tends to increase in Januaries, and this being no exception. And stock levels on Trademe, very, very low indeed. hard work for buyers. So the market is extremely competitive, difficult for buyers, great for sellers. The only question mark I have in terms of the coming few months is we have had the change in the LVR requirements, and so perhaps we have a bunch of buyers who are aggressively trying to purchase now before those LVR rules, those LVR changes impact their ability to purchase. Could we perhaps see a slight softening in demand as those LVR rules come into force in terms of finance applications and approvals? Time will tell, we shall see. If you need any personal advice on your situation, you want to appraise or anything, give us a call, Adam at Loco. Thanks for checking in. See you next time.